Hey everybody, and welcome back. I'm Matthew Boyle from Legendary Language Learner, and in today's video is titled How I Became a Language Learner and How You Can Too. And I want to talk with you not necessarily about the whole journey of what languages I've learned and how it all went. I want to talk to you about a few pivotal moments when I realized something about myself or my practice that helped me out. And I want to share those with you so that maybe you can try to implement some of them. Now, before we jump into today's video, I want to warmly welcome you to like and subscribe so you can support what I do, find your way back here, and be aware of when new videos are coming out. I tend to post a new video every Saturday. All right, let's get into this topic. So the first suggestion I would like to give you is to choose the language that you want to learn with intentionality. Studying a language because you have to or because you think you should isn't the best way to get started. In fact, that could sort of internally rot your efforts and your conception of yourself as a language learner. And I want to go out on a limb here and perhaps say something controversial, which is, as far as possible, choose your next target language because you're attracted to it, because you love it, and because you're truly interested in it. But also temper that enthusiasm with some reflection on whether your interest in the language will be deep enough to sustain your practice over time, or is it just an infatuation that is here today and gone tomorrow? And in my case, I had much better success with languages because it was something that I chose, that I was excited about, that I was interested about, maybe for some contextual reasons. Like I liked something that had to do with that languages surrounding culture or religion or philosophy or TV shows, stuff like that. Point number 2, establish some real necessity. I recommend you either move to an environment where you will be forced, in a good way, to use the language often, or else build such an environment around yourself where you are. Learning a language without ever having to apply it can work for some people, but not many, I reckon. And for the people who are doing that, it's more like an academic exercise that exists mostly to stimulate and exercise their mind. And there's nothing wrong with that. Just know what kind of person you are, because if you want to develop practical facility with your language and you want to be able to use it and do stuff with it in daily life, then you need to establish an authentic context within which you must apply the language that you're learning. And one simple way you can do this is to get a language exchange partner or a tutor who will help add some accountability into your practice regimen. That is something that I do. If you're interested in getting coaching with me, you can check out either languagecardgames.com if you're interested in card games, or legendarylanguagelearner.com if you're interested in something more general and fantasy styled. You know how we do things here with a lot of fantasy themed stuff. Okay, the third point is to boldly study in your own way. Out there in the online language learning forums and social media, there's really a prevalent idea that there is a best way to learn language X. And I think too many people are smitten with self-satisfaction that they've adhered to the right way, and they act as if they've earned bragging rights over us, trying to tell other people how they should and shouldn't learn. Well, for me, the standardized, the recommended approaches to learning languages that were often advocated by teachers and leaders in the field rarely worked out. And that was probably because, again, I'm not saying that they're wrong or they wouldn't work for you, but for me, I didn't find those types of practices too interesting or relevant. They're often too generic, too one-size-fits-all. And furthermore, I didn't really want to learn like so many people were learning anyways, because I didn't want the feeling that me and my language learning was just going to end up as a copy. I think I always intuitively understood that language learning at its root is a creative process, and we shouldn't try to whittle it down to the so-called best practices. We should jump in it, we should swim in it, immerse ourselves in it, and become more of ourselves through it. And that can start at day one. It doesn't have to happen after you've gotten to the intermediate or expert level stage. And when you do that, when you creatively immerse yourself in the process of language learning and you study boldly in your own ways, I think your achievements will simultaneously be fantastic, but also hard, if not impossible, to quantify according to the metrics of the language learning elites. And, so be it. Okay, number 4 ties into number 3, which is when you are chasing after your own ways that you enjoy to learn languages, you can develop those approaches and share them with others. I want to urge you to share what you've discovered with the world. You might have happened into something that could be of immense benefit to others. Maybe you could even be more proactive and intentional about the process of discovering and sharing new ways to learn languages. I had an epiphany that I wanted to start Language Card Games Company, and that really changed the game for me and so many other people. It made language learning a lot more fun. It helped me to sustain my practice day after day after day and not get bored of it, not get tired of it. Okay, well actually that ties into one last point I want to make, which is you should play games. That can really help you to become a better language learner. I think games are alternately overrated or passed over. Rarely do people meditate on the myriad and subtle ways that games truly help ensure our organic growth. It's really a very natural part of how human beings learn. And games are not exactly gamified language learning apps. I would say when you play, for example, a board game or a card game or a tabletop game with real people in a room, it's quite a fundamentally different experience than things that are gamified to kind of hook your mind into playing more and more, like the smartphone games and the desktop apps, stuff like that. So I hope I gave you a lot to chew on today. Let me know down below how you became a language learner. What were those pivotal moments for you when you realized something that helped your practice tremendously and took it to the next level? And I'll see you guys back here next time. Let's go out and make language learning magical. Bye for now.